Good morning, everyone, and Merry Christmas. I hope you're having a lovely day. But before I get into the topic of this video, I actually want to do something that people don't normally do for this holiday, at least publicly, and that is start off with acknowledging just how difficult this time of year can be. Now, I'm not going to try and give you advice. I'm not going to try and come at you from a point of view where I understand what you're going through. I'm just going to simply list off a few case scenarios and acknowledge that I see you and you're not alone. So, for starters, I want to acknowledge those who feel alone because they don't have a family to celebrate with. And that's a reminder to everyone, even those who are not going through that. Not everybody gets to have people on Earth. Not everybody gets to have people. And you're very lucky if you do. So if you do, cherish them. Feeling alone within your family. Maybe you have people, but they're not your people. I want to acknowledge financial struggles, feeling like you have nothing, feeling no abundance in a time where everyone has abundance and everyone has more than enough. I want to acknowledge those of us who have to deal with toxic family members and the tension that is created from that. I want to acknowledge those who have to navigate conflict every single holiday. And especially if you're an empath, this is a very stressful time. It can be a very stressful time because these are people that you love. They're not strangers, they're people that you love, and that's why it's hard. I want to acknowledge having to work on the holidays. I'm working today and I'm spending my Christmas flying back to New York. I want to acknowledge those having too much to do around the holiday season when it's a time when you should be enjoying yourself and relaxing with family or friends. I want to acknowledge those who are currently or have in the past experienced loss or trauma during this season and then have to withstand the holiday season with the anniversary of a death or with poor health or without someone that used to be there that isn't anymore. There's all kinds of stuff that can come up during this year. All kinds of traumas, all kinds of emotional upheaval for each and every one of us for very specific reasons. And it's weird because we don't always acknowledge it. We usually just try to make it look like it's the best time ever when a lot of the times it's not for us. There is a lot of pressure put on us to be enjoying this time of year by society. It is, after all, supposed to be the most wonderful time of the year. You know, we've got Christmas music that is extremely cheerful, being, at us at every direction wherever we go. Everyone's excited, and they should be. It is a very magical time of the year, indeed. And so, oddly enough, this can make it even harder to enjoy ourselves because we place expectations and desires on this time of year, and they're not always met, even if they're low. Sometimes people have high expectations, but sometimes even, you can have low expectations and those aren't even met because of all the stressors of this time of the year. We can also put a lot of pressure on ourselves because for many of us, this was a very magical time when we were a child. And as adults, we want to experience that again. We want to be able to sense the magic like we used to. The thing is that the magic is still there. It's just that our environment has changed a little bit, and we have changed a lot. But other than that, nothing has changed. I think that we have a lot of distractions that keep us from feeling it, and that is why we can no longer tap into that feeling of cheer and vitality and abundance and magic that we used to so easily reside in as children. And I think it's because of this that I personally crave peace for this holiday. It wasn't until today, Christmas Eve, that I realized that all I really wanted was calm because of how hectic everything is. And then once everything is finally calm, if there is a gift to be received by the universe, if whether it's from a person or by coincidence, happenstance, in some random location, if you are in peace and not in this chaotic place, you will be able to receive that gift of magic much more easily like you did when you were a child. And so that is my wish for everyone watching right now, is that no matter what you're going through, you have at some point between now and the new year some moment of peace. And I hope that in that period, just something comes to you unexpected, and you can sit in that and be healed by it. And I went through something like that the other day, and it was completely random. I was just sitting in a Starbucks, waiting for my bus to come, and I just had done a lot of Christmas shopping, and I take the buses, so it takes forever. And I have so much to do, and I barely have any time off to do it, etc., blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, this man waiting for his drink is just singing Christmas songs, and he had the most beautiful voice, and I was not expecting it at all, and all of a sudden, I just found myself in this place of harmony and peace, and it was beautiful. It really took me aback. And I could very much feel that it was a gift. I don't know how to explain it. It very much felt like everything was going to be okay, that we're all kind of being carried, and we forget that we're being carried, whether or not we feel this. It is very true that even though everything feels very traumatic and chaotic, we have much more support than we are conscious of. Okay, and sorry for that long introduction. I will finally get to the topic of the video, which is about Quan Yin. I was struggling with trying to figure out what I wanted this video to be about last night, and I was at my desk and I looked up and I saw my little Quan Yin statue, and I thought, oh, of course. And there she is right now. I lit a candle, and I just want to share with you my experiences with her, how I was introduced to her, and my interpretation of her. Before I worked where I work now, I didn't know who Quan Yin was, what she was. I wasn't into even like statuary or gods and goddesses and things like that. I didn't dislike it, it just wasn't my thing. But I'm around these things all day, and the other day I asked myself the question and opened myself up to the question whether or not I'd ever be interested in purchasing one of these statues, these indoor porcelain or like resin statues that we have of everyone, you know, Buddha, Lord Ganesh, everyone. Then, just a little while after this, I suddenly realized that I genuinely wanted this green porcelain Quan Yin statue, which I have right here, and I will show you. There she is. Now, what I found out while working in this store is that Quan Yin actually has an epic legend behind her. The story behind Quan Yin is that on her way to Nirvana, she stopped because she heard the cries of humanity and came back to help us. And since then, she's been known as the goddess of love and compassion. This title sounds so gentle, but the story to me doesn't. It sounds pretty hardcore if you ask me. If you're on your way to Nirvana and you deny it and you come back in the trenches of war, which compared to Nirvana, this is what this is, to stay here and help us. And so it got me thinking, and I started to ponder and meditate on Quan Yin and what she's all about, rather than just look up everything that you can find online. I did find some interesting things online, though. She's depicted in many different ways, not just this one. We have several different Quan Yin statues at the store, and there's several more out there that depict her in different poses. But I couldn't help but see her in a different light. I couldn't help but see her more than just this caring, compassionate mother who's very merciful. I didn't see her like that with her story. If anything, she's more like a Jedi, a badass Jedi who is fighting for us in light and out of love and compassion. But it was frustrating for me because I was trying to figure out if this was okay, if I was just, imposing what I want onto this spirit. But I'm at a place now where I truly believe that Quan Yin can present herself in a way that is unique to each circumstance and unique to each person. And if you think about it, that is the optimal way to be of service to humanity. If you want to go back and respond to our cries, we all have such different and unified traumas and experiences that we all have kind of like a slightly different key that we need in order to make it through our own personal life challenges. And so to me, she is not just a goddess, but a spirit that can present herself to us in whatever light we see her as. And one of the statues that I did see of her depicted that we don't have in the store is her having many, many different hands like coming out of her, and I believe that was to represent her servicing, having so many different hands to be of service to all the people who need help in this world. So that was a bit of a sign to me that what I feel about Quan Yin does have some validity and can be seen that way. So if you like to meditate, meditate on this, and that there is not only the spirit of Quan Yin, but a whole team of light here to help us through Christmas in our lives. Quan Yin is the ultimate superhero, if you think about it. I really truly believe that if you need a Jedi Master to take down the dark forces in your life, you could call on Quan Yin. Or if you need a compassionate mother who has a very gentleness and caring and supportive way about her. If you need that in your life, she can be that for you. And whatever you need, I really truly believe that you could call on this spirit and be helped. And we do have help. So unfortunately, that is all I have time for. Thank you for watching this video. I love you all very much, and I will see you in the new year.